Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Langer. I'm the digital content manager for channel3000.com. We are standing by for a press conference from the Dane County Sheriff's Office on the latest in a death investigation in Blue Mounds. We will take you there live right now.
Blue Mounds. I know there may be some other questions in regards to other incidents that are going on in Dane County, but at this time we're only going to address this investigation, but I will be willing to get those answers to your questions at a later time. On Sunday, May 15th at approximately 4:52 a.m., the Dane County Sheriff's Office deputies were called to an address in the village of Blue Mounds for an incident involving a firearm. Upon arrival, deputies and 6 other individuals in the home were present. One of them suffered from a fatal gun wound. The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the individual as 19-year-old Marshall Iverson, who goes by Levi, and he is from the town of Mount Horeb. Sheriff's Office detectives conducted an extensive interviews with all of the individuals involved in the incident, and they were all cooperative. The Sheriff's Office crime scene unit has spent the past several days processing the scene and finding all of the facts to this incident. 20-year-old Isaiah, middle initial M, last name Miller of Madison, is currently being held in the Dane County Jail on tentative charges of homicide by negligent handling of a dangerous weapon and homicide by intoxicated use of a firearm. Miller admittedly but unintentionally fired an AR-15 type rifle, killing his friend. Following the incident, Miller was taken to the local hospital where he consented to a blood test. The results of that blood test are still pending. Firearms should always be treated with the utmost respect, and proper education is imperative to being able to understand exactly what a firearm can do and its outcome if not used appropriately. It is imperative that we remember the 4 basic rules when handling a firearm. Number 1, treat every firearm as if it is loaded. Number 2, always point the firearm in a safe direction. Number 3, know your target and what's beyond. And number 4, keep your finger off of the trigger until you are ready to fire the weapon. Also, additional gun safety can occur from proper locking mechanisms for that firearm. The Dane County Sheriff's Office has free gun locks for anyone who is willing to take one, which is located at the Dane County Training Center, located in the town of Westport off of Highway 19. If you have any questions or would like to obtain the exact location of where you can obtain a free gun lock, please contact the Dane County Sheriff's Office and we can provide that information. At this time and throughout the entire investigation, our thoughts and prayers are going out to the family of the individual who lost his life. This is a tragic incident that could have been avoided with appropriate education and knowledge when handling firearms. I will take questions at the end of this interview or this press conference after Chief Hoops of the Village of Blue Mounds makes a statement. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm the Chief of Police for the Village of Blue Mounds Police Department. That is Hoops, H-O-O-P-S. First and foremost, I would second what Sheriff Barrett said, and my utmost and sincere condolences to the family and friends of Marshall Iverson in response to this tragic incident. Blue Mounds takes a lot of pride in the safety of the village and the residents that live there. And obviously, as one could imagine, this has put a lot of our residents and different homeowners in that specific area and the outerlying areas in a little bit of stress. They were, of course, wondering what was going on there, to be quite frank. At any time when you have an influx of law enforcement presence in a saturated area, such as a neighborhood that is not used to seeing such high police presence, I think it's fair to say that those people are going to be concerned as to what's going on. With that being said, at no point was there any danger to the public. As the Chief of Police in the Village of Blue Mounds, I will assure our citizens that if at any time we have an incident of this nature, or less or more of this nature, as so long as I'm the Chief of Police there, We will do our best to let our citizens know that their safety is compromised because we care about their well-being. Lastly, I would like to thank Sheriff Barrett and his remarkable staff and his exceptionally well-trained detectives on this case. They did a wonderful job, and without them, we probably wouldn't have been able to come out with the outcome that we did. So thank you very much.
Chief, if I could start with a question for you, Chief.
Okay.
Have you previously responded to the residents on Blue Mountain Avenue? And if so, did any of those previous responses involve firearms?
We have had one incident that I can recall from years ago. And to answer the second part of your question, firearms were not involved in that incident.
Is it a home or apartment, and can you tell us the exact address?
It is a home, and the exact address is, is 10840 Blue Mountain Avenue, and that's in the village proper of Blue Mounds.
Gentlemen, what is meant by an AR platform rifle? What does that description mean?
It's just a typical, the platform, it's a rifle. And there's no other specifics on top of that the platform is of an AR-15 type. So without getting into the specifics of that, that is just the platform that the rifle consisted of at the time of the incident.
Do you know who owned the rifle?
Yes, we do.
Can you say who it is?
Yes, it was owned by one of the residents one of the occupants of the residence at that time, and it was legally purchased as well.
It was legally?
Yes, sir.
How many people live in this residence?
There's several individuals that live in there, but at the time there were approximately 6, including the individual that passed away.
And they were all together? There weren't different things going on in the house?
Yeah, there were different things that were going on at the time. So though they were present, many of them did not specifically observe the incident as it took place.
Sheriff, separate from Miller, did you have anyone other than a resident in the home corroborate that this was an unintentional shooting?
Yes, at the time, everyone that was in the residence was cooperative with the investigation and corroborated everything that happened in regards to how we have come to a conclusion on this investigation.
And I guess I'll just be more specific. Miller was obviously a visitor to the home. He does not reside at the home. Were there any other visitors to the home who corroborated the events?
Yes.
I'm sorry, so Miller did not live there, correct, at that home?
Not that I'm aware of at this moment.
Okay, the victim did?
Yes.
Okay. I might have asked this, was it owned or was it a rented home?
I'm not sure at that time, specifically the status of that residence.
Sheriff, the victim lived at the home?
No, I apologize. The victim did not live at the residence. I apologize.
So neither of them did, neither
No.
the victim nor Miller?
Right, that is correct.
Okay.
You know, since this was not Miller's weapon, were they engaged in something I'll term Russian roulette? Having the weapon handled by different people and perhaps doing something unsafe with the weapon?
Not that we've come to a conclusion at this time. But thank you all for your questions. If you have additional questions, please let us know, and we can answer those at a different time. Thank you.
I just wanted to confirm though, Miller didn't own the gun?
He did not.
Thank you.
Elise, since we're all here, would you be able to get back to me or any of us about like what the circumstances were in terms of why the gun was out in the first place?
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, I'm James Langer, the Digital Content Manager for Channel3000.com. If you're just joining us late here, Dane County authorities and police from the village of Blue Mounds giving an update on the death investigation that happened there. It started over the weekend, so just recapping some of the details that they just went over in case you were joining us late. Dane County Sheriff Kelvin Barrett saying that authorities were called to that home in Blue Mounds on Sunday morning at about 4:52 a.m. There were 6 people inside the home at the time, including one 19-year-old who had been shot and killed. So that person was identified as Marshall Iverson of Mount Horeb. Police say he went by Levi. He was 19 years old. it appears that this was a group of friends that were just hanging out together in this home in Blue Mounds, and when authorities were called there, Marshall was already shot and dead. So police there conducted extensive interviews there, and everybody corroborated the same story, basically, that this was an accidental shooting, that someone there had a gun. Authorities say it was an AR-15 style rifle, and the gun went off or was accidentally fired, and Marshall Iverson, again, who goes by Levi, was hit and later died. So after conducting those interviews and just taking a look at the scene, 20-year-old Isaiah Miller of Madison was arrested after he admitted he accidentally fired the gun and killed his friend. So he is now facing charges of homicide by negligent handling of a dangerous weapon, by intoxicated use of a firearm. Authorities said that they did take a blood test, but those results have not come back yet. So don't know for sure if he was intoxicated at the time, but that's what police suspect, and those are the charges he may face once he is charged in Dane County Court. He's currently in the Dane County Jail awaiting his first court appearance. Some other things to mention here: police believe that gun belonged to somebody in that home and was legally purchased, so it wasn't an illegal gun. Just a case, authorities say, of people maybe not being as careful as they should have been with a firearm, and when it went off, the trigger was pulled and the gun actually fired and killed one of the friends that were hanging out in this home. So again, everybody there corroborated that this shooting was believed to be accidental, but again, a 20-year-old from Madison facing tentative charges for homicide by negligent handling of a dangerous weapon in this shooting. So we will have a recap of this press conference and more details over at channel3000.com throughout the afternoon, as well as our evening newscast. So be sure to tune in then for that, and we will provide more updates as we get them throughout the day on our website. Thanks for tuning in.